Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. GOP presidential candidates get their second chance on the debate stage to persuade voters. It happens next Wednesday, September 27th, at the Reagan Library in California, with a debate hosted by Fox Business and Univision. The stage may be less crowded than the last time as the qualifications get a little more exacting, but former Vice President Mike Pence will be there. He's been traveling the country detailing his pro-family strategy to combat a decline in marriages and birth rates in the United States. Is family still the ultimate subunit of our country, of our culture? And what role does government play in promoting family? And all of this as increasingly Americans are losing confidence in government and the two dominant political parties. Two-thirds of those queried feel, quote, exhausted thinking about politics. And the two words most commonly used to describe the current state of politics are divisive and corrupt. And one has to wonder whether the man for whom next week's debate site was built and to whom it honors would fare very well in today's political culture. Mike Pence was inspired by Ronald Reagan. He's a former congressman, former governor, vice president of the United States, and he joins us now. Welcome, Mr. Vice President. It is so nice to see you again. Let's start off. Tell us about your pro-family agenda and how much of it is executive, legislative, or simply using the bully pulpit of the presidency.
Well, Trey, first, thanks for having me on Sunday night. It's good to be with you. Look, I'm someone who believes that everything in America starts with faith and family, and everything that we can do to preserve the vitality of religious freedom in America is critical. But right after that, making it more possible for more Americans to live on one income if they so choose. You know, it was only about 20 years ago that one spouse in a family could pay all their bills on about 40 weeks. Now you're lucky if you can get all the bills paid working in a year. As President of the United States, I want to make it possible for more families raising children to be able to live on one income if they so desire, and then make it possible for one parent to be home. I also am a big believer in forever families with adoption. You know, right now the average private adoption in America costs about what the average income of an American is every year. You know, I'd like to look for ways that we can create incentives in the tax code that literally reduce the cost of adoption to zero for every American family. And then just all along the way, just finding a way to encourage and support families by promoting economic policies that'll defeat the failed Bidenomics record. I mean, families today are struggling under inflation that's risen by 17%, Trey, since we left office. The war on energy has caused gasoline prices to go up 60%. I got to tell you, one family after another is telling me that their family budgets are struggling. So get this economy moving again, but then also, as I said, promote policies that will encourage and strengthen families is, I believe, the wellspring of American strength.
Mr. Vice President, I think there's more than enough conflict in our culture today. I'm not a huge fan of conflict. I am a big fan of contrast. I think we need contrast. So here are the three categories: policies, performance, and then either personality or electability. What distinguishes you from the others who will be on the debate stage, or perhaps one who will not be on the debate stage, in those three areas: policy, performance, or the ability to do it, and personality or electability?
Well, you know, I say with great humility, Trey, and you and I served in Congress together. I was a governor of Indiana and vice president for 4 years, and I'm incredibly proud of the record of the Trump-Pence administration. I honestly think I'm the most qualified, but also the most consistent conservative in this race, and that gets to the policy issue. You know, when Donald Trump ran in 2016, he promised to govern as a conservative, and he tapped me to be his running mate, and together we did govern as conservatives. We cut taxes, we rebuilt our military, we provided American leadership in the world, and of course we appointed 3 of the conservatives to the court that overturned Roe versus Wade and gave America a new beginning for life. What I want people to know is that while we governed as conservatives during our years in the White House, Donald Trump makes no such promise today. And he and many of his imitators in this race are actually walking away from America's commitment to fiscal responsibility and reform, walking away from American leadership in the world. And just a few days ago, millions of Americans heard the president describe a heartbeat bill passed in Florida that's also passed in other states around the country as a, quote, terrible mistake. So I want people to know that I'm going to stand where I've always stood, Trey, where you've always known that I stand, and that is on that broad-based conservative agenda that's not only been a pathway of victory for the Republican Party, but it's been the pathway toward prosperity and security for the American people.
Mr. Vice President, I had the pleasure of sitting in front of you on the House Judiciary Committee. I learned a lot about preparation, learned a lot about how to ask good questions, and I learned a lot about integrity sitting in front of you. So thank you for joining us on a Sunday night. Best of luck to you next week at the Reagan Library.
Thank you, Trey. Great to be with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.